Carl, of course, at home again tomorrow, or would have been the second game in a row, obviously, with Tuesday's game ended up falling victim to the weather. So I suppose, first things first, how have you used that time instead of obviously having that game on Tuesday? I suppose on the positive side, it gives you a bit more of a rest off the back of last weekend.
Yeah, from a physical point of view, they should be fresh. We should have loads of energy to go and attack the game. We used the extra day, obviously, to put a higher load session into the players. We were able to then spend a bit of time preparing for Altrincham at a higher intensity instead of, sort of going through things on a Friday at a lower intensity. So we feel from a preparation point of view, it'll certainly help, and I think the players agree, looking at the the bodies and the energy in the session this morning, that we're in a really good place to go in and attempt to get 3 points. You
mentioned the game tomorrow there, of course, Altrincham making the trip up to Tyneside, who I believe your first game in charge was against a little earlier on in the season, but Altrincham, of course, as everyone knows, a team that always have pretty close games against Gateshead, two sides who are trying to play quite attacking football and trying to dominate the ball as well, so an interesting encounter for you tomorrow.
Yeah, in my opinion, one of the best teams in the league, Altrincham. I've said before in interviews, when I first took over and we were building up to that game, that they're a team and a club I really like. Phil is a great manager. Really admire the way he sets his team up and the way they play. So they offer a lot of problems. Like I say, though, we've sat down whilst having that respect for them. We feel we're well prepared and that we're ready to go and attack the game. And I'm sure it'll be a great spectacle, like you say, it always is. A good quality of game, good football on show, and it'll certainly test us, but it's a test that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, and in terms of how things are looking on the squad, obviously Louis Flower was due for a scan the other day on the injury he picked up last weekend, so what's the update on him at the moment?
Louis has a grade 2 MCL injury, so it's not as bad as we first feared, although it does keep him out for an important period. Between now and the end of the season, we're hopeful that he'll get back sort of early April, mid-April at latest. But we did fear, the big one, the ACL. Fortunately, it's not as bad as that, and we can keep that loan open and have him come back into the side and in and around things towards the run-in. But then, we've reacted really quickly and addressed that situation, which is pleasing.
Yeah, and you mentioned addressing that situation. Obviously, another forward coming in on loan in Tyrell Sellers-Fleming from Hull. Is that a like-for-like switch in a sense? Is he a different kind of player almost? And really, what have you seen that made you want to bring him into the club?
No, we would consider it a like-for-like. I think physically, athletically, very similar profile to Louis. He's in unbelievable form for the 21s there at Hull. He's been involved with their first team. He scored a lot of goals this season and last. So he's a confident player. He's like I say, he's in a good space at the moment. So credit to Luke and the recruitment side of things, and also to Hull, who allowed it to happen so quickly. But it's testament to everyone involved, because we've replaced Louis, sharpish, and that puts us back in a position where we can have that cover in the 9 position, and we're really excited at what he can achieve.
Yeah, and how is everyone really looking ahead of tomorrow? I suppose a couple of positives on the training front, although a bit too early for them to be involved, that Max Sheaf and Tiernan Brooks were involved in a light sense in training, just getting the ball back at their feet a little bit, which is good to see.
Yeah, you pretty much had all the injured boys of late up on pitch today, stepping up their work. Obviously the longer term ones in Butts and Greg Ollie, but Tiernan was up there. Max Sheaf joined in training, and then Big John, he'll be integrated back in through the week as well. So I'm hoping by Wednesday we should have John and Max in full training, and Tiernan will not be far behind. So those are the 3 immediate ones that'll probably come back in. And again, it's a massive boost for the players, obviously for everyone involved. And at this stage of the season, it's so critical. When we look at the statistics, where teams can really kick on and cement themselves either in the playoffs or challenge for the league, it is this stage of the season where other teams are maybe getting weaker and picking up their injuries. Hopefully we've been through our worst spell, and now we're starting to see those bodies coming back, and it's a massive boost for everyone.